All right, so today we got a vent hood motor that's tripping a breaker. They had a guy come out and rerun the electrical lines going up to the vent hood, and I mean, just look at this piece of work. I mean, broken conduit, electrical tape everywhere. You know, of course, bonus. I get free electrical tape out of it because he left it. But just look at this split conduit. You know, I mean, anything, wires could be frayed and just tripping the breaker. You know, it just looks amazing up here. So let's get some further inspection on it. Okay, so the switch he installed, we're getting about 109 volts. Typically, you want to be having 120 on each leg, especially coming from your non-common wire. We're going to open up this vent hood motor here. They give you a diagram that shows you the rotation that you want, and you know, whether you're running 230 volts or 120. And I'm explaining here that the rotation matters with the fan blades. I stick my hand under to let the blades go with my fingers and not chop them off. And the wires don't look bad here in the motor, but then again, we just have a bunch of conduit. And look, again, frayed wires, touching metal conduit, that's going to trip a breaker. I can't wait to dig into it and just find more about what's going on. Upon further inspection, you see the lock nut for the conduit coming in. It's broken off. As you look down under, you can see there's more wires frayed, so we'll pull that out and look at that a little bit further. But yeah, I mean, just, you know, great job. Replace the switch, put a bunch of electrical tape on it, and just go about your day. On top of replacing the switch, you know, just wire it wrong. Make sure your ground wires are completely not even grounded into the motor. You know, just put electrical tape around it, call it a day. As we start digging, you can see the frayed wires and every piece of broken conduit. That's definitely gonna trip a breaker. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But yeah, you know, if you know a guy, you know a guy. So let's just keep digging and see what we find. Now, this is a common mistake I see when the lock nuts break because of the vibration from the motor. It will fray the wires, so that's pretty common. But when you're going in as an electrician or HVAC and you find these things, you can see that nothing is being grounded to the motor. So when your switch is flipped on and off and it's grounded in the box, you know, you're going to have problems there. So we're going to take every bit of these wires out. We're going to run new wires. We're going to rewire the switch. And as you see, as I pull it out, yeah, frayed wires everywhere. You're non-common. I mean, everything is messed up. So we're going to redo this and just make it look pretty and make sure we're successful with allowing them to have the smoke release. Or, oh God, we're going to dig into that later. But let's just start here, work our way down, and we'll keep going from there. So now, as you can see, I've split open the wires on this conduit here. And yes, more split wires, more frayed wires. Hey, if it's broken, just electrically tape all of that with the wires so that the metal can touch those frayed wires. So that's going to help it out even more. Once you remove the pound of electrical tape, you can actually start to run the wires correctly. I tape off the wires here because they're rusted. It just helps me identify it once I actually put my conduit into the disconnect box. And yeah, you know, it's just beautiful to come in and see everything. You know, a lot of guys like to just be part swappers, but let's just do this correctly so it can run for a while. Right here, I'm pointing out that he did not ground the switch to the disconnect box and then have the grounded wire from the disconnect box run to the motor. So you can see I put the new wire in and it's thermal wire so it don't get heated up with all the smoke coming out. And we got everything pulled through and now it's actually looking successful. And I put a new lock nut on here so that nothing is going to get frayed again. We got that wired up. Looks beautiful. Everything's ran through, grounded out. And I didn't have to use new conduit. I mean, I ran this in. I put a cap on the end of it so that it doesn't fray the wires going into the motor. I'm just verifying that we have the right rotation. Now I'll cover the wires going to the motor, put the covers back on, and wazam, we are going to have a fully working vent hood that doesn't have any frayed wires and it doesn't trip the breaker. So yeah, join for more.